Right now, your brain is fighting a battle it was never designed to win. Every notification, every scroll, every ping is rewiring the neural pathways that took millions of years to evolve. And here's what nobody's telling you. The cost isn't just distraction or stress. It's far more profound than that. Your brain is physically changing, and not in the way you'd hope. The constant connectivity we've normalized is creating a neurological storm that's silently affecting your memory, your focus, your ability to feel genuine emotion, and even the structure of your brain tissue itself. We've become the first generation in human history to live in a state of perpetual digital stimulation, and the neuroscience behind what's happening is both fascinating and deeply concerning. Before we dive deeper into this neurological transformation happening inside your skull, if you're interested in understanding how your brain actually works and how to protect it in our modern world, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Drop a like on this video if you want to see more content about brain health and cognitive performance. Your support helps us create more evidence-based content about your most important organ. Let's talk about what's really happening here. Your brain evolved over millions of years in an environment where information was scarce and attention was a matter of survival. When your ancestors heard a rustle in the bushes, their brain's attention system would immediately orient toward that potential threat. This quick response mechanism, controlled largely by your amygdala and attention networks, kept humans alive. But that same system, when exposed to the digital environment we've created, becomes overwhelmed and dysfunctional. Every time your phone buzzes, your brain releases a tiny hit of dopamine, the same neurotransmitter associated with reward and motivation. This isn't accidental. Tech companies employ neuroscientists and behavioral psychologists specifically to design apps and platforms that hijack your brain's reward circuitry. They've essentially turned your phone into a slot machine that you carry in your pocket, and you're pulling that lever every time you check for new messages or refresh your feed. The problem is that your dopamine system wasn't built for this kind of constant stimulation. When you overstimulate this system, it begins to downregulate, meaning you need more and more stimulation to feel the same reward. This is the exact mechanism behind addiction, and it's happening to billions of people simultaneously. Research from neuroscience labs around the world is revealing something startling. Chronic digital multitasking is actually changing the physical structure of your brain. Studies using functional MRI scans show that people who engage in heavy multitasking and constant digital switching have reduced density in the anterior cingulate cortex, a region responsible for cognitive and emotional control. Think about that for a moment. The part of your brain that helps you focus, make decisions, and regulate your emotions is literally shrinking when you're constantly bouncing between digital inputs. But there's more. Your hippocampus, the seahorse-shaped structure deep in your brain that's crucial for forming new memories and learning, requires something specific to function optimally: sustained attention and deep processing. When you're constantly interrupted by digital notifications, your brain never gets the chance to move information from short-term to long-term storage effectively. This is why you can spend hours online and feel like you've learned nothing, or why you can't remember what you read just yesterday. Your brain isn't encoding information properly because it's stuck in a state of perpetual shallow processing. Let's talk about something called cognitive load theory. Your working memory, the mental workspace where you hold and manipulate information, has a very limited capacity. Neuroscientists estimate you can hold about 4 chunks of information at once. When you're trying to read an article while responding to messages, while music plays in the background, while notifications pop up, you're not actually multitasking. You're rapidly switching between tasks, and each switch comes with what researchers call a switching cost. Your brain has to reorient itself every time, burning through glucose and mental energy at an unsustainable rate. This is why you feel mentally exhausted after a day of being constantly online, even if you haven't done anything physically demanding. The impact on your attention span is perhaps the most noticeable effect. Research indicates that the average human attention span has decreased significantly over the past 2 decades. But this isn't because humans are becoming less capable. It's because your brain is adapting to an environment where sustained focus is constantly punished by the pull of new stimulation. Your prefrontal cortex, which governs executive function and attention control, is engaged in a constant struggle with the more primitive parts of your brain that are drawn to novelty and immediate rewards. When you train your brain through constant digital use that quick hits of new information are more rewarding than sustained focus, you're literally rewiring your neural networks to favor distraction over concentration. There's a concept in neuroscience called neuroplasticity, which refers to your brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. This is usually discussed as a positive thing, and it can be. It's how you learn new skills and recover from brain injuries. But neuroplasticity is value neutral. Your brain will adapt to whatever you consistently do, whether that's beneficial or harmful. If you consistently practice fragmented attention and shallow information processing, your brain becomes optimized for exactly that. You're building neural superhighways for distraction and creating little more than dirt paths for deep focus. Let's consider what happens to your stress response system. Your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which governs your stress response, wasn't designed to be activated dozens or hundreds of times per day. But that's exactly what happens when you're constantly checking for updates, responding to messages, and consuming emotionally charged content online. Each time you see something that triggers anxiety, anger, or urgency, your body releases cortisol and other stress hormones. In acute situations, this is helpful. But when it becomes chronic, elevated cortisol levels can damage the hippocampus, impair immune function, disrupt sleep, and contribute to anxiety and depression. Your brain and body are stuck in a low-grade fight-or-flight state that's wearing down your entire system. Sleep is another critical casualty of constant connectivity. The blue light emitted by screens suppresses melatonin production, but that's just part of the problem. The cognitive arousal from engaging with stimulating content, especially before bed, keeps your brain in an activated state when it should be winding down. Your brain needs sleep not just to rest, but to consolidate memories, clear out metabolic waste products through the glymphatic system, and restore neurotransmitter levels. When you're scrolling through your phone until you fall asleep, you're interfering with all of these crucial processes. Poor sleep quality then creates a vicious cycle because a sleep-deprived brain is even more vulnerable to distraction and has even less capacity to resist the pull of digital stimulation. Now here's something that many people don't realize. Your sense of identity and self-awareness is being shaped by your digital habits. Your default mode network, a collection of brain regions that activate when you're not focused on the external world, is crucial for self-reflection, memory consolidation, and imagining the future. This network needs downtime to function properly. But when every spare moment is filled with digital content, when you reach for your phone the instant you experience boredom or discomfort, your brain never activates this introspective mode. Over time, this can lead to a diminished sense of self and difficulty with self-awareness and emotional regulation. You're literally outsourcing your inner life to external stimulation. The social implications are profound as well. Your brain has mirror neurons and complex social cognition systems that evolved for face-to-face interaction. These systems read subtle facial expressions, body language, tone of voice, and social context. When most of your social interaction happens through screens, these neural systems don't get the rich input they need. Research shows that heavy digital media use, especially social media, is associated with decreased empathy and poorer social cognition skills. You're not just spending less time with real people. You're actually losing the neural fitness required for deep human connection. There's also the comparison trap that social media creates. Your brain has a negativity bias, meaning it pays more attention to potential threats and negative information than positive information. This kept your ancestors safe, but it backfires on social media, where you're constantly exposed to curated highlights of other people's lives. Your brain processes these comparisons in the same regions that process real social threats, triggering feelings of inadequacy and low self-worth. The emotional centers of your brain don't distinguish between a real social rejection and perceived social inferiority based on someone's vacation photos. So what's the way forward? The first step is recognizing that this isn't a simple matter of willpower. You're not weak or undisciplined because you struggle with digital overuse. You're up against some of the most sophisticated behavioral manipulation techniques ever created, designed specifically to override your natural self-control mechanisms. Understanding the neuroscience behind what's happening gives you power because you can start making conscious choices about how you want to shape your brain. Creating boundaries is essential. Your brain needs regular periods of genuine rest, not just switching from one form of stimulation to another. This means designating times when you're completely offline, allowing your default mode network to engage. It means practicing sustained attention on single tasks, even when it feels uncomfortable at first. Your brain will rebuild its capacity for focus if you give it consistent practice. Think of it like exercising a muscle that's been neglected. It's difficult initially, but the neural pathways strengthen with use. Consider implementing what some experts call digital minimalism. This isn't about rejecting technology entirely. It's about being intentional with your digital tools, using them to support your goals rather than letting them hijack your attention and reshape your brain in ways you didn't choose. Ask yourself, is this technology serving me, or am I serving it? Your attention is not an infinite resource. It's the most valuable thing you have, and where you direct it literally shapes who you become at a neurological level. Protecting your sleep is non-negotiable. Establish a digital sunset, a time after which you don't engage with screens. Give your brain the darkness and calm it needs to produce melatonin and transition into restorative sleep. Your cognitive performance, emotional regulation, and long-term brain health depend on quality sleep, and no notification or video is worth sacrificing that. Mindfulness and meditation practices have been shown in numerous studies to strengthen the prefrontal cortex and improve attention control. Even brief daily practice can begin to counteract some of the attention fragmentation caused by constant digital use. You're training your brain to sustain focus and resist distraction, building the exact neural capacities that our digital environment tends to degrade. Real-world human connection needs to be prioritized. Your social brain needs rich, face-to-face interaction to maintain its function. Make time for conversations without phones present. Engage in activities that require your full presence, and notice how differently your brain and body feel during genuine human connection compared to digital interaction. You'll likely find that real connection is more satisfying because it's actually feeding the neural systems that evolved for social bonding. The research is clear and the implications are serious, but here's the empowering part. Your brain remains plastic throughout your life. The changes we've discussed aren't permanent damage. They're adaptations to your environment and behavior, and they can be reversed or modified by changing that environment and behavior. Every moment you choose sustained focus over distraction, every time you opt for real connection over digital consumption, you're reshaping your neural architecture in a healthier direction. If this information has opened your eyes to what's really happening in your brain, do me a favor, subscribe to this channel and hit that like button. We need more people understanding the neuroscience behind our modern challenges so we can make informed choices about our cognitive health and future. Your brain is the most complex structure in the known universe, shaped by millions of years of evolution and continuously molded by your daily choices. It wasn't built for the digital environment we've created, but it has the remarkable capacity to adapt and heal when given the right conditions. The question isn't whether technology is good or bad. The question is, are you consciously shaping your relationship with it, or is it unconsciously reshaping you? Choose wisely, because your brain's future depends on the choices you make today.